There are many different reasons that many different people love Adventure Time. Some watch for the comedy, and others for the expansive plot that stretches across all 10 seasons. But for some fans, and at least a little bit of every fan, nothing matters as much as the general vibe of the show, and no episode serves as the epitome of that as much as Season 6, Episode 20, Jake the Brick. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. In this video, we're to go through all 11 atmospheric minutes and discuss how it uses a seemingly nothing plot to discuss the importance of seeing the bright side of life's struggles.
How's your experiment going?
It's going great. I really feel like I fit in, so to speak.
The first few minutes of the episode are completely silent, as the show takes a moment to establish the atmospheric energy of the episode, as well as just flex how beautiful the land of Ooo is. Watching Finn walk across these terrific backgrounds and following a map towards an unknown goal feels immensely familiar to the rest of the series, as a microcosm of the adventuring that Finn does throughout the show, as in an episode that's almost entirely about Jake, Finn still has his moment right at the front. While most of the sequence does more for the atmospheric goals of the episode, there is a little bit of thematic goodness tucked in the middle, as Finn attempts and fails to shoot an apple core into a tree stump. I'll get back to this moment as it comes up again at the end of the episode, but back to Finn. He eventually stumbles across his destination as he finds Jake filling a hole in an old brick shack, as he reveals his intentions of wanting to know what it feels like to be a brick in a building as it falls apart, which is obviously a metaphor that I'll get to towards the end of the video. Finn, just like the audience, thinks this is weird, but leaves his brother to figure it out on his own, leaving just a walkie-talkie to connect the pair. After Finn leaves, the episode launches into Jake doing documentary-style narration of the life of a random bunny that enters the episode, as the entire land of Ooo seems to pause in order to focus on its wildlife.
Looks like our long-eared friend is onto something. He's making a supreme effort, and I think I can guess why.
This narration from Jake will make up 95% of the rest of the episode, as it essentially becomes a John DiMaggio visual podcast, and he does an absolutely ridiculously fantastic job of carrying the episode, turning the life of this rabbit into genuinely enthralling television. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so let's go ahead and launch into this fable-esque tale, starting with the bunny having his rabbit stolen by the deer. This simple interaction serves to establish the primary characters of this innermost story, as they represent the average person and the uncaring forces of the world that seem set out on harming them. Soon enough, though, the deer leaves, but the role in the story that the deer filled does not, as the storm rolls on through, something that initially thrills Jake, but soon he realizes the danger that this poses to the bunny. Jake's narration elevates this moment to something genuinely cinematic, as it seems like everything the bunny has built will soon perish from the effects of the unknowing storm. But fortunately, the bunny is saved by a pack of beavers and a sea lard, who fairly clearly represent friends who help their bunny buddy from losing their home, as Jake reminisces on the power of community to overshadow the harsh, uncaring nature of the world that we all live in. It's a beautiful scene that's cut up by a B-plot of Finn connecting the walkie-talkie to a radio system, which allows all of Ooo to listen to the inadvertent podcasts that Jake is creating. While this partially serves just to show us what every character is up to and to mix up the visuals of the episode, it also serves to show how despite everybody in Ooo being so different in their values and their backgrounds, everybody can connect and relate to the story of the simple little bunny trying to get by and facing the storms that life brings his way. It's a beautiful moment that could have served as the climax of the episode, but the show has one more trick up its sleeve.
The bunny's rest is short-lived. The deer is back.
Just like what the deer represents, the bunny can never quite get away from him as he returns. And in a moment that the show deems so brutal that it can't even show on screen, Jake describes to his horrified listeners as the deer inadvertently destroys the newly reinforced home of the bunny, as no matter how much effort the rabbit and his friends put into trying to prevent the forces of life from destroying everything they worked for, they were ultimately powerless against the uncaring nature of reality. The episode pauses to show the reactions of everybody, including Jake, as they assume that the bunny will sink into the depths of depression as everything he knows is gone. But when the camera finally cuts back to him, he seems unbothered by the events that surround him, to a point that even confounds the deer as he focuses on the positives of the new world around him, celebrating the newfound fallen tree to explore. Jake is bewildered by this development, leaving the brick wall right before it falls, bumming him out before he hears the voice of his brother asking if he's ready to come home. Jake initially hesitates, but after taking one final look at the bunny and how well he has adapted from the hardships in his life, he agrees. The last shot of the episode mirrors the first one, focusing on Finn, as he finally makes the shot that he's been attempting throughout the episode, as the immense joy felt is only possible because of the failures from before, giving one final example of looking at the bright side of the misfortunes in your life.
Yes!
Alright, let's start breaking down the various metaphors in this episode, starting with the main impetus of everything in the episode, being Jake's goal of being a brick in a collapsing building. While I definitely think that this can be interpreted in multiple different ways, the way I look at it, given the thematic backing of the episode, Jake's comments about Finn being too young to get it, and his initial hesitancy to return home at the end of the episode, I see Jake's desire of being representative of him wanting to feel the weight of being afraid lifted. The bricks in the wavering shed are all under the constant pressure of holding up the brick above them, just as Jake feels as if he's emotionally responsible for holding his friends and family up, and all he wants is the release of the building falling, as once the building falls, the bricks have nothing to fear. Jake is so afraid of everything out of his control happening to him and the ones that he loves, that he would rather just have the building or the world around him fall, leaving him without any fear or responsibility. This interpretation, of course, ties into the story of the bunny that he narrates, as the first disaster is averted with the help of his friends, something that Jake would currently be unable to do as he left Finn and Bimo to try and shirk any responsibility he has to his friends in need. The second disaster, though, being the deer that comes and destroys the bunny's home, shows Jake that even if hard times come and Jake is unable to help his friends completely mitigate the effects, there's always good things to come out of the hardships in your life. And by watching the bunny focus on those things, Jake is able to overcome his fear and exit the wall, only to find that it immediately falls as he was holding it up and preventing calamity the entire time.
Aww.
While Jake and his narration make up the bulk of the episode, there's also a good chunk of stuff going on in the background with Finn's plot of broadcasting Jake's story, which provides a nice angle on the theme of the A-plot as everybody in OO comes together to rally behind the bunny, celebrate his successes, and mourn his failures. A big point that the later seasons of Adventure Time tries to really hammer in is that every inhabitant of OO has a different background and therefore a different perspective, but despite this, every single person is deeply invested in the random bunny because they can see themselves in him, doing everything they can to try to protect themselves, but ultimately being vulnerable anyway, and having to pick up the pieces of their life and try to find the positives. While the exterior of this episode may be this extremely endearing and earnest atmospheric piece that makes for a fantastic repeat watch, the interior of this episode serves as a reminder that while in the little bunny lives that we all live, selfish deers and devastating storms will always occur, but if you look around, you may just find a new tree that you couldn't reach before. Anyway, that's going to be about it for me. I hope that at least some of that made sense, as I know this is one of my more abstract videos, but it kind of has to be to fit this one of the more abstract episodes of the series. Thank you so much to anybody who has watched my stuff as of late, as it's officially been a year since I switched styles on this channel last year in an attempt to finally gain some more traction, and it's pretty clearly worked. Back in January, I planned the May More You Mow, the Mow You Know video to come out and be the last AmpleSamuel video if I still wasn't really getting any views, but it's safe to say that the AmpleSamuel train isn't stopping anytime soon, and that's entirely because of the support of you guys, which I am deeply grateful for. I know I just took a bit of a big break, but I really hope to have a big summer of videos, so look forward to that. I have the next couple of videos planned out, partially thanks to everybody who suggested video ideas on my community post, but if you have any episodes of Adventure Time or any other cartoon you want to see me discuss, leave them down in the comments, and if you want to see what I'm working on next, or just see see all the video ideas that I announce and then have to shamefully delete when the script doesn't work out, you can find my Twitter in the description. Either way, this has been AmpleSamuel, and I'll see you in some amount of time with another video that's just a smidge too long. Thanks for watching.